Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to a new video where today we're going to talk about the 10 reasons why I believe the Dodge Chargers and Challengers will level off, if not go down in price this year based on all these factors. And I could be completely wrong, but I think when you hear them, you're going to go, these make sense. And it may terrify some of you and hopefully scare you straight into not paying too much for these cars and waiting just a little bit longer and getting the deal that you deserve and putting these dealerships in their place. Because I believe sometimes there's forces much larger than we can even anticipate out there, and we're going to have them hit us this year. And it's going to hit these dealers really, really hard. But first, I want to apologize for not doing a video in this last week. I usually do, and probably for 2.5, 3 years, I've not missed a weekend. But what's been happening lately is just like when my daughter was about 3 years old, she'd get up on Saturday morning and come into the master bedroom and be real quiet not to wake my wife up and poke her finger right into my eye up into about the second knuckle. And it would wake me up, and then she'd be like, Barbies, we're going to go play Barbies. And I was a Barbie. I crushed it at Barbies. And we would have so much fun, and we'd play that whole morning, have breakfast together. And we did that every weekend until finally I had to have a conversation with her about sticking her finger in my eyeball and that she could wake me up just by whispering in my ear, Daddy, wake up. And I'd come and hang out with her. But now that she's 16 years old, it's a whole different experience. Now she kicks open the master bedroom door and says, Daddy, there's a car meet in South Orange County. We need to go to it. Let's go. And she is a machine. She wants to go on drives, rallies. We've been out every single weekend. It's been insane. The reason I share this is you need to follow her channel. If I get 3,000 views on this video, it'd be really cool if just 150 of you took a minute and went and just subscribed to her channel at Car Girl Kendall. She's at about 850 or so subscribers right now, and it would mean the world. It would blow her mind if her dad, who loves her more than anything in the world, could get his subscribers to go and get her to 1,000 subscribers. This is her thing. This is her little business that she's creating. This is the job that she has to do every single weekend, and she's been absolutely militaristic about filming and getting her videos up, and she's on her 7th or 8th video at this point. And yes, I'm helping her with editing, but they're good videos, and they are fun videos, and I get it. A lot of you are like, I don't want to watch anything with a Supra or supercars or with a 16-year-old kid. I get it, but they're still fun videos. And you don't have to watch the videos. Go subscribe. But if you watch them, even better, please like and throw a comment in there and say, your dad sent me, he loves you, and we love you too. And she will be so over the moon. So help us out. Car Girl Kendall, leave a link in the description below, and go subscribe, watch a video or two, and like them and comment. But now let's talk about these 10 things. I'm going to talk fast because I believe you all can listen just as fast, and I don't want this video to be too long. So the 10 reasons, starting with number 1, is, and I'll read these things so I don't get off track, too many unordered cars still. And those that have been ordered, we have no idea if these were for dealer inventory or for actual customers who paid markups. Also, none of us know exactly how many secret allocations were and are actually out there. I shared a video with you where I went into a dealership and they're like, no, I know it doesn't say we have allocations, but I have a few allocations for Hellcats. Other dealers have had a certain number of allocations. They're like, no, I have a few more than that. And the bottom line is what I found out, it's not less, it's generally more. And it's even dealerships that maybe didn't have allocations that have the ability to get an allocation or get a car ordered under some special circumstances, I'm sure, but they do. And for those dealers who have commented saying, oh, Dodge Garage is not up to date, it's behind, it's not accurate, it's a gimme. It's like in golf when you're a foot away from the hole and your buddy just goes, you can have it, and you take it because you're not going to take the chance. I'll tell you right now, I think it's a gimme. It's within a few weeks accurate, and if you watch it, it moves along with it. And I've called so many dealerships and found they're within a couple of allocations off based on allocations from the week before. So it seems like they're staying on top of it. I also have to have some trust that a publicly traded company like Stellantis wouldn't put this out there and have it completely inaccurate and risk a giant class action lawsuit of price manipulation against the general public and the customers. I got to think they're within room for error based on the disclaimers that they got on their site. So I'm going to go along with it, and based on the scarcity of some of the higher end Hellcat models, it kind of makes sense that there's only like 20 or so Charger, Hellcat, Red Eye 807s. That makes sense. That fits in with the pricing that's going on. But for the regular 717 Hellcat, regular bodies and wide bodies, there's a lot more out there than you think. And I'll pop this up real quick, go past my notes here, and just click on Challenger. And here's for a regular 717, regular body, there's 1,146 cars not ordered yet. not ordered yet. And all the other ones that were ordered, we don't know how many of those are dealer cars and not buyers that are going to show up as inventory. So with 1,100, with orders having opened in October of last year, if this is the hottest car, since the history of this planet, why are these still there? And they're not dropping as fast as they were for the first few months when the frenzy was there. And we all know that because we could watch it now. Let's go ahead and look at the wide body. There's 1,625, so we're just under 3,000 717 Hellcats, which is the variant that I want, and I believe I'm going to be able to get for a good deal. And then if we go down to the jailbreaks, you'll see them get a little bit more scarce. 21 cars. That makes sense. Why would they overestimate and put 21 out there? My bet is I can call any one of these dealerships that are showing allocations. They're going to say, yes, I only have one more. I want a $50,000 markup. They're sitting on those allocations, and it's accurate, pretty darn accurate, at least from what I've seen. Then you've got the wide body here, 120 of the jailbreak 807 wide bodies. So there you go, 120 of those. So do the math, 3,000 Hellcats out there. If you go look at Chargers, there's like 577. There's, another 100 or so. So there's maybe 3,500 Hellcats available. And we know that 100% of these cars are not going to get picked up by the people who ordered them. And with this many orders just dangling out there and dealers not putting those orders in yet until people actually agree to pay these markups, at some point they're going to have to put those orders in and either come down on the markups or take the chance, order them for dealer inventory, and then hope to God they can get markups when the cars are there. Because the thought of them not getting those orders in and those orders not getting built, those cars not ending up at their dealership, means lost sales. And sales at MSRP beat the hell out of sales, no sales at all. And if they're holding out for markups, they may be, ruining the day that they didn't take advantage of this. And if they wait to be the last dealership to put their orders in, they may not get them built and other dealers are going to get the cars. And they need to get sales because remember, they're not going to have a 2024 like they're having right now. Most likely, this economy's not going to change that much and they aren't going to have these cars. We don't know what they're going to have. More on that in a second. So that's why I believe once this fleshes out, there's going to be a lot more cars. These are just sitting there. Check the numbers. I check them week after week. They're not dropping like they used to drop because people aren't agreeing to those markups for a lot of the reasons I'm going to share with you, starting with number 2. Buyers who didn't anticipate how much their car payments would be with these new higher rates. I'm going to share the payments. I mean, I think that people are not thinking really clearly when they bought these cars. They just went in there and got the order in and they thought, well, I'm going to put down my deposit and I'll roll the dice. But if we're looking at probably a good rates, 6% right now at 7.75% tax in California, where I'm at $1,200 in title registration, that takes you to a car payment about $2,100 a month. That's almost over $24,000 a year. And for those of you who say, well, it's because you live in California and have to pay taxes, good for you. It's going to drop a little bit. It's not going to drop a lot at a 60-month loan. It's not going to drop a lot. You're going to save the taxes, good for you, but payment's not going to go down, $100 or something like. It's not going to go down a whole hell of a lot. And those of you who say, I should move out of California, stop saying that in my comments. Please stop saying that in my comments. Saying that in my comments is so ridiculous. And let me put this back on, because here's the deal. Anybody who would just pick up, leave all the friends they've had for 20 years, their daughter's friends, leave them behind. All of my wife's friends, say goodbye to them. Say goodbye to my mother and infirmed father. Say goodbye to my mother-in-law. Hope she's not watching this. I wouldn't mind saying goodbye to her sometimes. Bottom line, saying goodbye to all these people we've grown to love, like, trust, and respect. My good friends, people I took years to find friends like this, which are not easy to find, and just move to another state because I want to save a little bit of money. Come on, stop saying stupid things in the comments. Don't say that. I'm going to pay the extra money to live in this crazy state, the taxes that live in daylights out of you, and thank goodness I can afford to do it. But I'm not moving. I digress. Back to, remember, the way this goes, I put a $100,000 auto price. And the taxes and everything comes out to about $108,000, $109,000. Remember, you're going to have a $25,000 markup, most likely minimum on top of that, if not a $50,000 markup. And that's going to be cash. That's not sales price. That's cash to get the opportunity to buy the car. You're not paying $125,000 for the car. You're paying $100,000 for the car. That's the price of that car. But you're paying $25,000 just to get the opportunity to buy a $100,000 car. Just because they want $125 doesn't mean it's worth $125. It means they found someone dumb enough to give them $25,000 in just cash for nothing. so that you can buy that car for 100 grand. So now you're out $25,000 in markup, and then $24,000 in first-year car payments. That's insane. Let me just tell you, 2 or 3 years later, you're sitting on a car that's now worth $60,000, and you've got a $2,000 car payment. You're going to be kicking the living daylights out of yourself. But Brad, it's going to go up in value. No, it's not. Please stop thinking that. Only if you park it in the garage, keep no miles on it, wrap it in cellophane, put it on some blocks, and sit for 20 or 30 years, maybe. But I'll tell you right now, all the regulatory issues, gas cars going away, and we got to go 2035. Remember, that's a long ways away. We got to be, no more gas cars can be sold in California and a lot of these states. Only 3 states, I think, right now going along with that. Bottom line is, there's no way we're going to be able to hit that. And there's so many reasons why. It's a whole different video. So something's going to have to change. Something's going to have to give. And we're all going to look stupid thinking we're running to pay too much for these cars just because we believe the politicians. Remember, two groups of people you cannot trust right now. You probably never could trust. It's the car salespeople, the car dealerships. There's a couple good ones out there. Most of them are not. And the politicians. If you are putting your faith and trust into them, you need help, my friends. You need to go get therapy. You need to literally slam your head in the door as hard as you can until sense is beat into you. These two groups, don't believe and trust them. Trust yourself. Do the research and realize this is not the last ICE engines. This is not the end of it forever. And you're going to pay way too much money thinking that it is. So maybe the Hemis go away. Maybe some other company buys these things. Maybe Stellantis cuts and runs from this, and somebody else ends with it, and 3 years from now we end up with Hemis back on the market. None of you know, but I'll tell you right now, even the demon owners are kicking themselves for paying more than $150 for those cars, and now they're selling for $150. So in all these years, they've sat on that car only to be able to sell it for what they paid with the markup. That's a hell of a lot of money sitting on the sidelines of a market that in the last 3 years, they could have doubled that cash. It was a bad investment. Cars are not investments. So now let's get out of this payments. You can go to this website, which is calculator.net, and figure out how insane your car payments are going to be. Number 3, buyers with current low-interest car loans will realize that they're trading a 2.5% interest rate for a 6 to 8% interest rate. Even if you've got the best credit in the world, banks aren't wanting to do loans on these high-end cars at really low interest rates. But let's say you get a 3 or 4% interest rate. It drops your payment maybe a few $100s. It's not a big deal. But you're going to be sitting still, let's say, at a 4 or 5% interest rate. I'm sitting on I think it's a 3.5 or 3.9% interest rate on my Scat Pack, which was bad at the time I got it, but now it's great. And if I sell that thing today, I'm going to have to jump into a car at a 6+% interest rate. And if the longer term loan you do, the higher the rate's going to go. So yes, you drop the payment a little bit, but incrementally the interest rate raises it back up. So you're going to be hurting a little bit with the payments, and you're going to be hurting with that interest rate, and you're going to give up a car that right now you can probably pay off through this recession because you're paying so much more principal and so much less interest, and easily knock that loan down in a time when you should be rolling up in a ball to get through this recession versus going out and going wild and buying a $125,000 Hellcat. Now, if you got cash and you're rich and you're great and you're older, you want a bunch of money in crypto or whatever it was, and you've got a lot left, knock yourself out. You're the exception. The rest of us, we're going to finance a big chunk of this car, and that's going to hurt a little bit. Number 4, the bank tightening qualifications are raising rates on buyers for any little reason, regardless of creditworthiness. I think I'm at a 780, 785, I think 784 FICO score right now. That FICO score is still, based on the amount of car loans I have and everything else, inquiries and all the fun stuff that's on the credit, banks are using any excuse to charge a higher interest rate. Okay, that just is how it is. That's because they're terrified. They're terrified of all the defaults that are going to happen, if not already happening, which if you just look on Google and just read a little bit, they're actually happening. And banks don't want to take high risk, and especially margin on cars at tip-top value that people are going to be underwater on. So they're going to really try to front load their profit on that car with interest rate. And they're going to use any little thing. You haven't been on your job long enough. You've been on your job too long. Whatever the hell it is, they're going to find a reason. And they're tightening up the lending criteria. You may even have trouble getting qualified for the loan. You may not get qualified. You may get rejected where 6 months ago you got approved with a certain bank. And now let's say it's Chase, and Chase comes back and says, no, we don't want to do the deal now. We want a guy who's, less than 2% of his income is going towards his car payment, and he's got $3 million in the bank, and we're just not doing high risky loans right now. And now you're like, but I'm not high risk. I've had good credit forever, and I've got a good job. I've been here forever. But they know layoffs are coming, and they know there's going to be a lot of issues in the economy, and they don't want to get stuck with that car that they know is going to go down in value. So banks are tightening, and that's going to affect people. They may not even get qualified for the loan that they think they're going to get because they were getting loans easy the last 3 years. Next, number 5, higher income people will take big pay cuts this year, forcing more prudent decisions. It just is how it is. High income people, let's talk about the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $600,000, $700,000 people that were making 80% of their income on bonus dollars, these public traded companies, getting stock options, all this kind of stuff when the market was high. All that's going to evaporate at this point. They're either going to go back to base salaries or they're going to go with pay cuts. Things are going to happen. They may even get laid off because as they're laying off their lower paid employees and less business is coming into their businesses, they're going to have to take haircuts. Business owners are going to take haircuts. This is all going to happen. You also have a situation where people made a lot of money in 22, and even though the second half was a little rough, made a lot of money in 22, and they owe a lot of taxes this year. So the bump that people are talking about on used cars probably isn't going to happen like they think it's going to happen, and seasonally it does because of the tax returns. A lot of people have made a lot of money in the last few years, and they still owe money. So these higher income people, they're going to be taking pay cuts. There's no way around it. I'm taking a pay cut. It just is how it is. You're not going to see me out buying another Lamborghini right now. I backed out on the Huracan 3 times at this point. I'm just not doing it because I believe I'm going to make less money this next couple years because it's how the cycle goes. Number 6, trade-in values will drop faster than new cars, which will kill deals on new cars when buyers can't get out of their Scat Packs and used Hellcats. People will rapidly become upside down in their trades, stopping them in their tracks. A lot of the big banks like KPMG and Ally predict a 30 to 20% drop in used car values, meaning the car you plan to trade in on that Hellcat, that 2023 Hellcat, because of all that equity you had, that equity is going to be gone. Or you're going to be upside down in the car, and you're going to show up at the dealership and go, well, you won't give me this much for my car. And it's going to be weird. The dealer's going to be like, well, I want $25,000 over for my car, but I want to give you 30% less than what I would have given you a year ago. And you're going to go, how's that work out? If you give me MSRP for what I paid for right now, then I could put all that money towards the markup and buy your car. And they're going to go, no, that's not how it works. Used cars are actually dropping, and we have control of the inventory right now, so we're holding out on a new car, which is a used car the second you drive off of that lot, which means you're going to get creamed after that. If you literally pulled out one end of the parking lot, pulled in another end of the parking lot, you would leave paying $125,000 for the car, go back in, they'd offer you $80,000 for the car. That's the reality of what we're looking at. These are not gold bullion. They're not investments. They're not going to go through the ceiling in value. Next. Job losses, financial hardships due to the declining economy will increase repos, defaults, pushing more used inventory onto the market, hurting used car values. Job losses will come. I'm going to put a little clip right here.
You're raising interest rates to slow the economy, are you not?
Yes, to cool the economy off.
And one of the ways you measure your success, other than fluctuation in gross domestic product, is the unemployment rate. Is it not?
Yes, one of the measures.
Okay. So in effect, I'm not being critical. When you're slowing the economy, you're trying to put people out of work. That's your job, is it not?
Not really. We're trying to restore price stability.
No, you're trying to raise
not wages.
You're trying to raise the unemployment rate. I know you don't like the phrase, so let me strike it. You're trying to raise the unemployment rate, are you not?
No, we're not trying to raise it. We're trying to realign supply and demand, which could happen through a bunch of channels, like, for example, just job openings.
All right, let me put it another way, okay? The Economist did a wonderful study. They looked at 10 disinflationary periods in America going all the way back to the 1950s. Disinflation is what you're trying to do. It's a slowing in the rate of inflation. Am I right?
Yes.
In other words, prices don't go down, they just don't go up as fast. Deflation is when prices actually go down. You're trying to achieve disinflation, are you not?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Based on history, in the 10 times that we got inflation down, disinflation since the 1950s, in order to reduce inflation by 2%, unemployment had to go up 3.6%. Now, that's history, is it not?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yes, the standard has been that there have been recessions and downturns when the Fed has tried to reduce inflation.
Now, right now, the current inflation rate is 6.4%, and the current unemployment rate is 3.4%. Now, if history is right, I'm not asking you to again blame anybody, but if history is right, unless you get some help, in order to get inflation down from 6.4% to, let's say, 4.4%, and the unemployment rate is going to have to rise to 7% based on history.
That's what the record would say.
If you don't realize this, the whole objective right now is to continue for the Fed to continue to raise interest rates until the economy struggles so much that unemployment goes up. If unemployment goes up, then inflation will go down. They need to drive job losses. It sounds mean, it sounds evil, and I think that it is. I think there's got to be, with all the brain power in the world, a better way to do this. But these guys, they don't care. They're already rich. They're already good. So here's the deal. Let's push a bunch of people, mostly lower income people, middle income people, and let's push them out of their jobs, force them into unemployment, and then they can't buy all the stuff the rest of us are selling, and then our pay gets cut as well, and then we head into a deeper recession. There's no way around this. They're going to do that. Short of somebody else getting in office, that's where we're headed right now, folks. And when those job losses really start to hit, which they already are, by tens of thousands of people are losing their jobs right now, then it's going to start impacting this economy because they can't find new jobs. As long as they keep finding new jobs, they're going to keep punishing us with these interest rates, and they're going to keep pushing until they can force unemployment up. It sucks, but when that happens, we're going to start feeling it a lot harder, and people are not going to buy the cars. They're not going to buy the cheaper cars, the expensive cars. They're all going to tuck in. Next, automakers and car dealers have over-relied on scarcity and low interest rates to be successful. Both of these factors will change. Rates already have, and they will have a higher supply and higher interest rates, and they will wait too long to react, putting huge pressure on themselves to move cars just to stay in business. Remember, it's hubris, it's arrogance. These dealers have been so cocky the last 3 or 4 years thinking this is going to last forever, and they still think, because so many of you showed up saying, please give me the car, I'll give you whatever you want for it, that they think they can sit here and have this final hurrah and huge payday. I'm telling you, a lot of you are going to go, nah, man, I'm not getting that car. And hopefully most of you did fully refundable deposits, because most dealers made them refundable and didn't do refundable deposits or non-refundable deposits. If you did a non-refundable deposit, I would still sue them in small claims, because I don't think there's a judge in the world that wouldn't fine for you and consider that to be just bad business all the way around. And all you need to find is one small claims judge who got screwed by a car dealership to give you that judgment, give your money back. So it costs, $50 to go to small claims or something. Don't just assume you're going to lose your money. They're going to have to give that money back. And by the way, just a little note on that. All those deposits they're going to have to return. They've been floating that money, using that money to pay their bills while things have been slow, and they haven't had a lot of cars to sell, and things have been slowed down because of interest rates, and now they're going to have to give you all that money, and then they're going to have all these cars showing up that people are backing out on, and they're going to need to sell those things, because selling a car at MSRP beats the hell out of not selling a car at all. Next, number 9, the stock market will continue to significantly reduce cash liquidity of millions of otherwise high net worth people who plan to use some of those profits to cover their down payment or markup. I'll just admit it myself. My portfolio is probably down. It's down 6 figures, easily down 6 figures. Only if I sell it do I lose that money. But I'm not going to sell anything. But I'm not going to go buying anything right now. I'm sitting here. Now, there is opportunity in the market that I'm going to buy some of these stocks when they hit really, really low numbers and hopefully cash in. But that's still going to push my liquidity out another year and a half before I start pulling that money out to go buy fun stuff. Because a lot of my stock investing and overall investing, not 401k and stuff like that, that was money when it was really high that I could use to go spend, because it was money that fell out of the sky. In this market now, it's gone. And if you had $400,000 in your account right now, and $200,000 of that was pure profit, and today you now have, let's just say, $180,000. That means your principal investment is down by $20,000 and you lost the $200,000. You're not going to cash out $80,000 to go buy a car. That would be the stupidest thing in the world. And I'm telling you, that's what's happening out there. Liquidity is going away. It's also going away in housing prices. It's going to go away in housing prices. Right now, we haven't seen it yet, but those prices will go down. There'll be less opportunity to pull money out of their house to use their equity in their home to buy these cars, which people did. Even though it's stupid, people did it. Number 10 and last, Dodge will likely have to announce their plans for 2024 replacement of these Dodge Chargers and Challengers. Do we think that they're going to go into 2024 with nothing? Now, they said they're going to give us this Banshee electric thing. I don't want that thing. But the reality of it is it was a concept car. And they kept saying, and the concept car for 2024. I never even really heard them say 2024, but everybody says it was 2024. We haven't heard anything about this thing coming in 2024. Plus, it wasn't the final iteration of that car, meaning whatever they deliver us is going to be significantly different. And I'm convinced there's going to be an ICE version. And that ICE version, they're going to hold to the last minute to make sure all the dummies pay too much for these cars. And then they're going to say, now check out this brand new, amazing twin turbo, 6-cylinder, awesome Charger thing that is different than what the concept car looked at, and something maybe even more palatable and more attractive to people. And they're going to attract a lot of people. Maybe not you, maybe not me, but that other guy over there who had a 2023 on order and says, man, I want the 2024. I want the newest thing. And since they have a gas engine, I want that thing. And by the way, turbo is pretty awesome. And a 6-cylinder, and if it's a lighter car, and hell, if they give us an all-wheel drive version, I mean, we're going to have something that's going to be pretty damn fast. Keeping up with Hellcats, pretty dang close to it. And then we're going to say, well, I don't want this thing. I want to buy that. And they're going to have to announce that at some point. They can't go into next year. Imagine all the Dodge Chargers and Challengers evaporating from their P&L. All those sales evaporating from Stellantis' P&L in 2024. That wouldn't make any sense. Rather, they're going to have to roll something out. They're not going to go, I can't imagine they're going to go all in on just Hornets and just trucks. That would make no sense. Their stock price going to the toilet. And if they did do that, they'd probably have to sell the brand off, in which case maybe a new company would come back and say, just kidding. We're going to re-bring out the Hemi. And you're going to be like, what? And they come out with a CUDA or something like that. And you're all sitting on these cars you paid too much for going, damn, I want the new thing. So there's so much out there that we can't anticipate. And I'm just throwing these out there as some thoughts and ideas. You can definitely comment and tell me I'm full of crap, and that's cool. Just be respectful when you do it. So with that, everybody, don't forget, go follow my daughter, Car Girl Kendall, on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.